Kylie POV. While we were taking a bath, he asked, "Where do you want to go for the honeymoon?" "Anywhere you like," I sighed as he shampooed my hair. He stopped and looked at me. "Are you sure?" He chuckled and resumed. "Fine, I'll plan today." Logan left late for the office because Beta Ace had asked him not to come to train the Warriors for a week. I had breakfast with Katie, but my mind was on Graham and Zoe the whole time. I was wondering what action he would take, knowing I won't give him half the money. When I returned to my room, I saw my phone was buzzing again. Fed up, I picked it up and realized that it was a video call. As soon as the call connected, Graham's face came into view. "Yes, Graham?" I asked, irritated. He was looking haggard. There were dark circles under his eyes, and his skin was pale. "You've resorted to stealing now, huh?" he said, his face contorted with anger. "Not only you ridiculed me in front of every alpha at the head council, you divided our funds and protected it with a password. How dare you?" he sneered. "That is my money, and this is my pack. After you've rejected me, you don't have any right on that money or my pack." Zoe was standing right behind him, giving him a shoulder massage like she encouraged him to attack me. "What I did at the head council was out of desperation," I replied as I glanced at his mistress. "You can't blame me for your condition. It is you who is responsible." "I am responsible?" he retorted, his face going red in anger. He shoved Zoe's hands from his shoulders and pointed at me. "You are responsible for this chaos. You were the one who tricked me by going to Alpha Logan just to conspire against me and take this case to the head council." "I did what was right for me," I said nonchalantly, lowering the collar of my shirt to show my mark to him. My action did the intended work. Both he and Zoe paled when their eyes landed on it. And boy, was I having fun. "My God, Kylie," Graham rasped, jealousy written all over his face. "You are such a shameless bitch. You didn't even wait for a week to be marked." "Why should I?" I shrugged. "Alpha Logan is—" "She is so conniving," Zoe spat, stopping me. Her bitterness spilled out of her like a fountain, like she had missed the bus. I crossed my arms across my chest. "Why should I wait for my mate to mark me?" "Your mate?" Graham's eyes widened. "Your chosen mate, you mean?" "Nope. My second chance mate, I mean." Both of them were dumbstruck. It was like a lightning bolt hit them. "I told you not to trust her," Zoe spat. "You were right, Zoe," Graham said in a low, defeated voice, lowering his face. "I trusted her way too much." Then he looked at me. "At least I was honest with you about my feelings for Zoe." I scoffed. "Really? You mean I should have been honest with you about my feelings with Alpha Logan? Just like Zoe, I should have left my husband and gone to stay with him, because my wolf needed my mate and my husband?" "Kylie!" Graham roared. He picked up a glass paperweight from the table and threw it on the wall, shattering it into thousands of pieces. Zoe started comforting him by touching his shoulders, and then she whispered something in his ears. He nodded and took a deep breath in. "Anyway," he said to me, "I've called you to give me the password of the account. I won't let you steal my money." "Your tantrums won't work on me, Alpha Graham. I'm not your Luna anymore," I chuckled, "and I won't give you the password." "Kylie, don't cross the limit. I am warning you," he growled. "That money is mine." "I'm not crossing my limit, Alpha Graham. You very well know that I've taken less than what belongs to me because my pack is larger than yours." "Oh, my goddess!" Zoe snickered. "Look at her. Have you seen a pirate?" I raised my eyebrow. "Have you seen a mirror?" I said to her. "On second thought, don't. It might crack." I lifted my hand to stop her, and then I warned him, "That money belongs to my pack, and I'm coming to take my pack back from you." Saying that, I disconnected the call, leaving them both with a shocked expression. Tension bunched up. I had no clue how to get my pack back, but I was desperate because I was convinced Zoe would manipulate or torture my pack members to her advantage. I couldn't shake the feeling that Zoe had an agenda behind it all. Also, what happened to Quid, the rogue who Graham had caught for selling secrets to Sure and who smelled like melons? The more I pondered the mystery, the more I sensed a link between Quid and Zoe. It was time I talked to Alpha Liam, so I called Sheer and Fenris. At the wedding, both of them were present but low. I could understand it. Alpha Graham had termed them as traitors. Although they had willingly left his pack, the rumor mill would not stop. I met them in the library. "I want to talk to Alpha Liam of the Brown Fur Pack," I breathed. Sheer smiled. I guess you should. He searched for Liam's number and gave it to me. Alpha Liam picked it up on the first ring. Who's this? His thick voice sounded on the other side. Alpha Liam, this Luna Kylie. Is this the right time to talk? After a heavy silence, he said, We can talk now. There was an assurance in his voice. I took a ragged breath because this was turning awkward. This is about Zoe. Why? Why did she leave me? He completed my sentence. I never abused her, he said straightforwardly. I know that's what she claims, but the reality is she wanted to go back to Graham. They met briefly at her parents' place 2 months ago, and their love rekindled. He offered her to come and stay with him, so she rejected me and went to Graham. Icy shock dropped in my stomach at his revelation. My doubts about her abuse story confirmed. I'm so sorry. Alpha Liam chuckled humorlessly. The story holds more than meets the eye. I suggest we meet and discuss it. Kylie POV. My shock lasted for longer than I cared to admit. Sure, we can meet and discuss, I said in a breathy voice. According to Alpha Liam, not only Zoe, but Graham was also involved in the betrayal right from the start. They had met each other after her arrival from the brown fur pack behind my back. But you're sure about it? I asked him nonetheless, taking a ragged breath in. He sighed. Yes, Luna Kylie. I feel like an ass in this situation. Honestly, I'd like to meet you and discuss it because I want to take my revenge on Zoe. She cheated on me. As for Alpha Graham, you've already taken revenge that suited him. I hope you noticed I abstained from joining him at the head council. I didn't know that he had abstained because I was so busy with my agenda. Thanks, I said. I don't know how I can help you with the revenge, but I just wanted to confirm my doubts about something that is ticking at the back of my mind. For that, I'll definitely meet you. I'll be looking forward to it, he replied. Since I'll be heading for an important business meeting to the human world tomorrow and return in 2 days, how about we meet on the weekend? I wondered if Logan would allow me to go, but I had to meet him. Okay. We disconnected the call. Sheer took the phone back with eyes wide. He had listened to the conversation. That Zoe has conned everyone, and Alpha Graham has been her partner in crime. I got up and walked to the window from where I looked at the garden beyond. Zoe is pretty conniving. If I want my pack back, I have to outsmart her. Whatever you do, you aren't going alone there. Fenris and I will accompany you. And you have to talk to Alpha Logan about it, Fenris added. I heard that Alpha Logan's cousin's pack, located near the brown fur pack, was brutally attacked by the rogues. Yes, I remember that, I replied. I'll talk to Logan about it. By evening, Katie was sitting in my room with a dozen invitations for dinner. You have been invited by the council members of the Nord Pack and certain alphas from neighboring packs, she said, waving the invitations in the air. I will schedule your visits. The door opened and Logan walked in. He came straight to me and kissed me tenderly. How's my wife doing? He asked, staring intensely at me. I missed you. I missed you too, I replied and pecked him. Hello, Earth to Moon, Katie growled. We were talking about invitations. Logan looked at her dryly. Siblings, siblings, siblings. What the hell? Katie gritted her teeth. Yes. Go to hell, he said as he tugged his tie open, because we will go on our honeymoon and not dinner parties. I giggled as Katie bit her bottom lip. She nodded, threw the invites on my bed and turned to leave. As she closed the door, she said, I guess you're right this time, bro. Logan immediately picked me up in his arms and sat on the bed with me in his lap. He hugged me tightly and buried his face in the crook of my neck, where he licked my mark. Tingles ran down my body, straight to my core. Sorry, I couldn't meet you earlier. There was a lot of work. It's perfectly okay, I replied with a smile. But there's something I'd like to tell you. I narrated him the conversation with Alpha Liam. What do you think? A muscle feathered in his jaw. I am not surprised. So what do you want to do now? I offered him my plan of action. Are you sure? He asked with a crease on his forehead. I rubbed the crease off with my fingers and said, Can we go for our honeymoon a little later? I really want this to be behind us. He cupped my cheeks and said, Anything for you, my love. Goddess, I never expected Logan to fall so hard for me. My throat bobbed and I leaned in to kiss him. We shared a languid kiss, savoring the moment as if time stood still. Just be safe, wife. You know I will kill that fucker if he harms you, he breathed, leaning his forehead on mine. Since I didn't want to waste time, I started with my first mission, which was to get my pack back from Alpha Graham. I knew it was going to be challenging, but I had to try. Logan had agreed to send me to the lunar pack, but he sent me along with a large number of warriors. His grandfather didn't like the idea of sending his granddaughter-in-law to her old pack, saying, "The Nord pack is large enough and we don't need more members. We are more interested in your safety. Graham must be like a wounded mutt now." "Grandfather," I said, feeling a surge of warmth in my chest. "I have to reclaim my pack for my pack members. It's a tribute to my father, Alpha Jonas Kennedy." That made him quiet. "In that case, if you are in any sort of danger, reach me out. I swear I'll whip that swine if he even touches your hair." I blinked away the tears, feeling proud of my newfound family. Yes. Logan had to stay back because, surprisingly, there was another rogue attack on his cousin's Norse pack, and this time he was going to intervene himself. He held my hand and walked me to the car. "I want you back as soon as possible," he said, tucking a strand of my hair behind my ear. "Please be safe," I breathed, looking into his eyes. I held on to him tight for a long time. Eventually, I sat in the car and headed to the lunar pack with 5 cars full of warriors following us. Sheer and Fenris were sitting with me. When we reached the lunar pack, I noticed that the guards at the pack's gate had changed. Usually there were my pack's guards, but this time there were his pack's guards. They stopped us from entering. I clenched my teeth and said, "Tell Alpha Graham that Luna Kylie Hanks wants to meet him." "Please wait here," the leader replied in a harsh voice. After confirming with Asher, he said, "Only 2 cars will be allowed inside." My heart raced because that could be dangerous, but I had to take the chance. "Okay," I said, and they opened the gates. Sheer and Fenris went with me, along with 1 car behind us, with the best warriors of the Nord pack. When I reached the Alpha's manor, old memories flooded back. This place used to be amazing until Zoe ruined everything. I walked into the main hall where I saw Alpha Graham standing with a glass of whiskey, looking unusually pale. "You have a lot of guts, Kylie," he said as Zoe came to stand behind him and curled her arm in his. I crossed my arms across my chest. "Instead of wasting time on buffoonery, how about we get straight to the point? I want my pack back." Kylie POV. Graham looked at me with so much animosity that I would have winced had I still been his mate, but now it didn't make a difference to me. "You want your pack back?" he sneered. "I am sorry, Kylie, but that pack was merged with mine when your father married you with me." "Yeah, but since we broke up, the packs automatically go back to their original status," I explained. "Well, fuck you," Graham snapped. "You won't get anything from my pack. It belongs to me. Their allegiance lies with me. I am their alpha, not you. Take your fucking ass out of my turf before I beat it in front of your so-called pack." Zoe snorted and rolled her eyes. I felt like slapping her across the face, but I let my focus remain on Graham. "You are wrong, Alpha Graham," I said, "and call me Luna Kylie. I am Luna Kylie Hanks." Graham's expressions shifted to fury, and he clutched his glass tightly. I continued, "I knew that this would not be easy. And so, as the Alpha of the Nightbloom pack, I challenge you, Alpha Graham of the Lunar pack, to fight with me. The victory will determine who owns my pack." My announcement caught him off guard, and his eyes widened momentarily. There were gasps in the crowd that had gathered around us in the main hall. Murmurs began. "Is she mad? Alpha Graham will kill her. She is no match for him. She is going to embarrass herself. What a douche, pig-headed." The murmuring of the Omegas around us didn't come as a surprise. My next words got the job done. "Obviously, we'll fight in our wolf forms like true alpha wolves," I breathed. My wolf, Coral, was ready to shred him into pieces. She was extremely angry at him, and seeing Zoe standing with him was furthering her anger. My words hit the mark with him. He paled more than ever. "Why are we going to fight in our wolf forms?" he snapped. "Besides, I won't fight with you. You are a docile female wolf. You will easily lose and get injured. I am man enough not to harm someone's Luna on my turf." I almost wanted to laugh at his claim. "Really? You didn't have problems hitting me when I was here the last time." "He is being very nice with you, Luna Kylie," Zoe intervened. "He won't fight with you, and that's it." I crossed my arms across my chest. I am challenging you as the alpha of the Nibloom pack, Alpha Graham, and not as a woman. If an alpha gets challenged, they won't hesitate to accept it and prove to their people that they're the real leaders. I tapped my chin. Now, should I believe you are no longer suitable for this role? In that case, I am ready to take on as the alpha of both the packs. Kylie, he roared as he threw the glass of whiskey on the floor in front of me. It broke into thousands of pieces with whiskey splashing on my feet. I am not fighting with you because I don't want to kill you. I chuckled and shook my head, standing on my ground confidently, unfazed. I could sense the emotions of my angry warriors, because now I was their Luna. They wanted me to give them a command to challenge Graham to protect me, but I silently gestured to them to stay quiet. Since Alpha Graham was extremely reluctant to fight with me, I offered another solution. If you think I'm too much of a woman for you to fight against, ask your mistress to do it instead. I'm sure that she loves you enough to take up the challenge. Blood drained from Zoe's face as she stared at me, dumbfounded. Graham shifted on his feet uncomfortably. What? Zoe rasped. How can I? I am pregnant. Do you want me to risk the life of our pup? Oh, come on, Zoe, Fenris exclaimed. It's not like this is the first time a female werewolf would shift and fight for her alpha if she's pregnant. My mother had fought for Alpha Graham's father when she was pregnant with me. His statement drew some silent laughs. No, she squealed as she placed her hand on her belly. Beta Asher can fight against your Luna. I just can't take the risk. You can, I pushed. Enough, Graham growled. Zoe is pregnant with the heir of the lunar pack. She won't fight. Beta Asher will fight against you. I couldn't help but raise an eyebrow at his blatant hypocrisy. Could he stoop lower? He was a goner, completely under his mistress's spell. From the corner of my eyes, I saw Asher sighing. Wow, you just said that you won't fight me because I am a woman, but now you're sending Asher to fight against me. What happened to your morals? Then I dipped my chin and said, or should I say that the reason you aren't fighting me in your wolf's form is because your wolf has receded? Pin-drop silence ensued. When his eyes widened in shock, my suspicion confirmed. I saw the familiar expression on his face during our video call because I've been in his shoes. That was the look when my wolf had receded. What the fuck, he growled. How dare you accuse me of that? You are crossing your limits, Luna Kylie, Zoe shouted. Alpha Graham hasn't recovered from your rejection. He is still hurting. You are taking advantage of that? How mean and cruel you are. Please leave. We will give none of our pack members to you. I took a step forward. Who are you to say that? I won't leave until I get my pack back. So either you fight me, Alpha Graham, or Alpha Logan attacks you to take what rightfully belongs to me. I am giving you a better way out. If you fight me, you'll at least keep your pack, but when Logan attacks, he will take it all. As tense silence prevailed, Asher stepped beside Alpha Graham. There's an amicable way of doing this, he said. It's been 2 years since the two packs merged, and people have integrated well. Interpack marriages have taken place, he said. We can just identify which member belongs to which pack and divide. That would be best, Sheer supported. It's fine with me, I shrugged. Those who wish to stay can do so, and those who want to join me are more than welcome. Suddenly, Zoe leaned over and whispered something to Graham. Graham nodded. He roared, No, I don't agree with this. Who are you to decide for me, Asher? Asher winced. Graham turned his fiery gaze to me. Because of your stubbornness, Zoe has agreed to fight with you, Kylie. I was astonished. What happened in such a short time to change her mind? But outside the pack's territory, Graham added. Kylie POV. I raised my eyebrow and said, Why will I fight outside the pack's territory? If you want to fight, you have to do it in front of all the pack members. She shrugged. I have my condition. If you agree, then I'll face the challenge you've thrown. If you don't agree, you may leave. Besides, the pack members can always watch it outside the pack's territory. It's not like I am hiding anything from them. I didn't know the reason behind her strange request, but I had my suspicions. Okay, I accept the challenge, but I looked at Graham. You have to give it to me in writing that if I defeat her, you will give me my pack. Graham narrowed his eyes at me. After a moment, he said, Okay, let me draw out the agreement. Meanwhile, you can go to the border. I would like to talk to Zoe in private. Just as he was about to go, He looked back at me and remarked, I always knew you were jealous of Zoe getting pregnant with my pup. I hope karma bites in your ass for making her fight for your personal gains. If my precious pup is harmed, I will go to extreme lengths to make sure you pay for your actions. Wow, Graham, if you're so worried, why don't you fight me? I shot back. Do you really think you can lecture me about karma? I clenched my teeth. He really had the nerve to tell me about karma when he was the one who was all wrong. I seethed. Did you ever think it's weird that your mistress said she was abused, but never looked bruised when she came back? Or was it you always knew about it? Alpha Liam never ever abused her, and... I looked at Sher, who gave me the file I had brought with me. I slapped it into Graham's hand. Take a look at it. You will be surprised to know that Quid, who is no more in your dungeons now, is Alpha Liam's cousin. But that is not all. I pointed at Zoe. She is using a witch's spell on you to keep you under control. I have the name and address of the witch who she contacted in this file. Alpha Logan assisted me in conducting a thorough background check on Zoe and gave me her file just yesterday. Graham lifted his hand as if to slap me, but he clenched his fist. Kylie, he rasped, his voice dripping with disdain, you are unbelievably conceited. Don't you say a word about my Zoe. My mouth dropped to the floor. I hoped he saw through her, but the opposite was happening. He scoffed and walked away without listening to me further. Zoe smirked as she went with him. I was fuming at him. Sher came to me and said, Luna, Kylie, save that anger for the fight. Why do I feel Zoe has some hidden agenda to fight outside the pack's territory? Taking a ragged breath, I nodded. Yes, I feel the same. Keep a vigilance on the borders. I will check it, along with our warriors. Don't worry. Just keep your calm and focus on the fight. Then he lowered his voice and said, Fenris said that our pack members were actually waiting for you to claim them back. They don't like Zoe, and they look up to you as our alpha. Really? I felt a surge of positive energy in me. He nodded. Yeah, they're excited, and I wouldn't be shocked if they're there to support you. A wave of confidence washed over me. Let's go, I said enthusiastically. The Nord Pack warriors checked the perimeter of the Lunar Pack to see if it was safe or not, while I waited for Zoe. Some of my pack members started pouring in and secretly gave me a thumbs up to motivate me. Half an hour later, Zoe came. Where was Graham? She had her hand on her belly as if showing people around her she was sacrificing for them. Members of the Lunar Pack, who were part of the original pack, sneered at me, accusing me of selfishness. Guilt weighed down on me like a heavy boulder. I didn't want to harm her pup. It was innocent. Then I remembered that when Zoe first fought with me in the pack house, she was pregnant and she looked like she wanted to kill me. I know you want to spill blood, she said to me, trying to draw as much sympathy as possible. I am willing to put myself and my unborn pup at risk for the well-being of my pack. So let's get over this. Saying that, she shifted into her wolf and snarled at me, and the fight began. Coral picked up the gauntlet and forced me to shift. She towered over Zoe's wolf, clearly displaying greater strength. I said to her, Just make her submit, Coral. She is with a pup. Yes, that is my intention, Coral replied. Zoe dipped her chin and peeled her lips back. We circled each other. She dipped her forelegs and then suddenly charged at Coral. Coral clashed with her head on. She pawed Zoe on her head, bringing her down in one blow. Zoe whimpered and immediately rolled away. I remembered her speed and moves from our last fight. While she displayed something different, her true intentions were something else. So when she rolled away with a whimper to show that she was in pain, it was the other way round. She charged at my flank with her wide jaw to sink teeth into my flesh, but I outmaneuvered her. I turned swiftly and lunged at her, kicking her mouth with my strong paw. The kick was so strong that it sent her skidding on the ground. It was time that I made her submit to me, so I charged at her and was about to grab her throat when she suddenly twisted and ran. With a dangerous growl, Coral ran after her. Before I could stop Coral, she was chasing Zoe through the forest. Zoe was fast, despite her pregnancy. She looked over her shoulder towards Coral and veered to the right. Coral, go back. This looks like a trap, I said. No, I am going to get her, Kylie. She is cheating. Zoe ran deeper in the jungles as Coral chased after her. She started gaining on Zoe. Zoe jumped over a fallen log and then over a brook. Coral too jumped after her. Irritated by her antics, with a dangerous growl, she lunged at Zoe over the brook, landing right over her. Without wasting time, she caught her neck between her fangs, forcing her to submit. I sank my fangs a little in her flesh to draw blood and leave a mark to show that I had defeated her. Zoe stopped struggling, accepting her defeat. I shifted back and said, "You've lost." Something sharp pierced my flesh from behind, and I yelped. She must have lost the fight, but look what I've gained. A heavy voice sounded from behind. Startled, I quickly turned my head back and found myself face to face with a wolf, his dark eyes filled with amusement. "How are you, Luna Kylie? Glad to meet you in person. I am Alpha Liam." Kylie POV. Shock rippled through me as I tried to fathom what really happened here. Scent of melons surrounded me, and realization dawned upon me that Alpha Liam was behind all the rogue attacks on the Norse and Nord pack. But why? I clenched my teeth, curling my hands into fists as I stared right back at Alpha Liam, dumbstruck. Alpha Liam was a tall wolf with a muscular frame. His dark brown hair fell to his shoulders as he stared at me with his dark eyes. Zoe shifted back into her human form and came to stand beside her husband. A warrior quickly gave her and me a robe. As I wore it, she slid into it and entwined her arm in her husband's arm with a smug smile. "Did you like our welcome?" Zoe asked as she rested her head on Alpha Liam's shoulder. "So, this was a trap?" I said through clenched teeth. She shrugged. "Duh, it was. You know, for a woman who wants to be an alpha, you are quite stupid." From the corner of my eyes in it, I saw warriors had circled us. "If I'm stupid, you're mayor of Stupid Town. You." Disregarding her, I said to Alpha Liam, "You said that she had left you for Alpha Graham?" He chuckled. "And you believed it?" He shook his head. "You are so gullible, Luna Kylie. How can you even think of heading your pack when you believed what a stranger said to you so easily?" I opened my mind link quickly and searched for those who were close to me. Werewolves could mind link other werewolves who were close to them. I didn't find anyone. Since this was my last chance before Alpha Liam and his wolves took me away, I had to communicate with someone quickly. And for that, I had to keep them occupied while I searched. I chuckled humorlessly. Now I can see it clearly. When Zoe returned to her pack, she used a witch's love spell to trap Alpha Graham. I looked at Zoe. "Are your parents aware that you betrayed your pack?" "No," she replied without an ounce of remorse. "Why should they? My father was the former beta, and he is loyal to his pack." "And what about you?" I hissed. "I am loyal to my mate," she said, turning her face to look at him. He gazed at her with heated intensity, and the two locked their lips. "Luna Kylie," Shear's voice sounded in my mind. "Shear," I called him back, relieved. "I am trapped by Alpha Liam and his warriors." "What? Where are you?" "We are tracking your scent, but it keeps getting faint," he replied in a panicky voice. "We keep stumbling on the scent of rogues who smell like melons. Please tell me you aren't with them." I realized that Alpha Liam's warriors must have diffused my scent. "The melon scent belongs to the warriors of the brown fur pack," I said. "Fuck!" I could sense his rage in one word. "I am coming along with the warriors." "Listen, Shear, I don't think I have much time." But I was cut off when Alpha Liam growled. "Take her to the pack. She is going to be the best trade I've ever done. Tie her, and if she tries to resist, stab her." Two warriors came to hold my arms and one tied my wrists. Alpha Liam looked like a maniac, but right now I had to play along. Taking a deep breath in, I continued my conversation through MindLink with Shear. "Alpha Liam is dangerous, Shear. Don't come here, but go to Alpha Logan and Graham and explain the situation. Meanwhile, I'm going with them." "No, Luna Kylie," he shouted. "He'll kill you." "Do as I say, Shear," I shouted back. "We don't have time for arguments." And then I closed my mind link with him. They shoved me in a car with Alpha Liam and Zoe. While they sat at the back, I sat in front with the driver. Alpha Liam kept his dagger on my neck all the time. "I told you, I'd do what you asked me, love, didn't I?" Zoe cooed to him. "You are brilliant, Zoe." I heard them kissing each other. "At first, I doubted your ability to complete the task when you went to the pack. But look at you," he said. A zip opened and the car filled with a scent of arousal. I felt like puking. Without removing his dagger from my neck, he grabbed her hair. "You've brought Kylie to me, and now we can accomplish our mission." So this was his strategy? To claim our packs without fighting or challenging their alphas? Oh yes, baby, he rasped. I froze in my place as he rested his head on the back of my seat. Zoe sat beside him, stunned, and I didn't even dare to move. What the hell was happening? Can you stop for a moment? I whispered in a hoarse voice. When the driver stopped with Alpha Liam's approval, I got out on shaky legs and puked all over. We reached the brown fur pack in 3 hours, and in those 3 hours, we sat in awkward and tense silence. The driver didn't take the main highway. Instead, he drove through a dirt road in the forest. It was late in the night. An Omega escorted me to a bedroom and locked inside. A few warriors were posted outside my room. I expected Liam to imprison me, but it appeared he had an alternative plan. What could it be? With fear in her eyes, the Omega said, "Luna Kylie, would you like to take a bath? I'll assist you." "I'll take it on my own," I said, dismissing her. When I returned to the room, I saw a nightdress laid out for me. The Omega informed, "Alpha Liam will come here shortly." That rattled me. What if he forced me? I called Coral. "Be ready to fight him." "Yes, I will shred him into pieces," she growled. As soon as the Omega left, the door opened and Alpha Liam walked in along with Zoe. He was holding a tray of food for me as Zoe glared at me. He placed the tray on the center table and said, "Eat. You must be hungry." I crossed my arms across my chest and straightaway asked, "What do you want?" My eyes went to Zoe, who sat with him on the opposite couch. "You sent your wife to seduce Graham by using the love spell. To get our packs without fighting?" He smiled and placed a hand on Zoe's thighs. "You deduced correctly. Your sources were correct about the witch's spell. But guess what? Zoe didn't have to use the love spell on him. She seduced him without the spell. That fucking asshole loved Zoe so much that he betrayed you. All she had to say was that she was pregnant with his pup. Rest all fell in line." "But this is your pup, Liam," Zoe intervened with a pout, like whatever she did all this time was a joke. "You can't be so sure," he snapped at her, and she became quiet, her face flushing red. "I have to get a paternity test done on that pup." Zoe paled. Kylie POV. I watched Zoe, who looked flustered by what Liam said. From my findings, she resorted to a witch's love spell to bewitch Graham. And to be honest, I was willing to forgive him, but that wasn't what happened. He actually chose her over me, even though we were mates. There was no bond between us, but this knowledge still pained me. "How can you say that?" Zoe cried. "You sent me to Graham when I was already pregnant." Zoe went to him and intertwined her fingers with him. "Liam, I did everything for you because I love you so much. Can't you see?" He smirked. "We'll talk about it later, Zoe," he said, removing his fingers from her and returning his attention to me. "Luna Kylie, how did you like my home?" he asked, waving his hand around the room as if he was trying to seduce me. I looked away, feeling repulsed. "Liam," Zoe cried again, "I did everything for you. I went to the lunar pack for you, for your ambitions. Look, I even trapped her and got her here. We are mates. Why are you doing this to me?" Liam narrowed his eyes at her. Tilting his head, he said, "Whose idea was this, Zoe? Didn't you propose the idea of acquiring the lunar pack and the Nightbloom pack without having to challenge their alphas? Have you forgotten that this whole scheme was yours to begin with?" Embarrassment flushed Zoe's face while my mind was jolted by yet another shock. "So it was you who instigated Graham to make me have the anti-pregnancy shot," I said, trying to wrap my head around her plans. Zoe jerked her head to look at me. "Yes," she sneered. "It was my idea. So what? Winning requires making sacrifices. Graham was a moron. When he got married to you 2 years ago, I had visited him and told him I would come back for him. But I made him promise he shouldn't have pups with you, else I would never come back. So he gave you the anti-pregnancy shot without a second thought when I asked." She walked to me and cocked her hip. "You know what? That fool loved me and the idea of having his heir with me more than his own mate." "Then why didn't you come immediately?" I asked. "Why did you wait for 2 years? Besides, you didn't even know that our packs would be merging. My father was alive back then." Her lips curled in a wicked smile. She looked at Liam and then back at me. "How did your father die?" she asked. A shiver ran down my spine. "He had a heart attack," I whispered. She started laughing. "Here's a little story for you, moron." She crossed her arms across her chest. "When you got married to Graham, I knew you were the only heir to your pack. Since you were married to Graham, it was obvious after your father's death the pack would be merged with Graham's according to the laws. But there was a teeny problem. Your father was alive and well, so Graham and I hatched a plan, and using an Omega's help, we poisoned him. Air whooshed out of my lungs as I stared at her, frozen to the spot. Graham killed my father, for my pack or Zoe or both, she continued. The poison was just enough for him to die in a week's time and not instantly. Obviously, we killed the Omega after that. She chuckled and went to sit on the sofa, crossing her legs. A few days later, your packs merged, and that was our first victory. Her chest filled with pride as she looked at Liam, as if hoping that he understood how brilliant she was. Misery shrouded me. Father died of a heart attack, and I believed it was natural because I could never suspect my mate to kill him. But you waited for a year even after that, I said in a hoarse voice, my throat choked with emotions. I had to, she replied. Graham's pack wasn't doing well. He said you came up with the Golden Gate project and it was a huge success, so I waited for the pack to mint money. She fixed her eyes on me. I have to say, Kylie, your project was wonderful. I have stolen those files and will sell them to other packs. This is going to be a cash cow. All the time I thought she wanted to be Graham's Luna, and that's why she had stepped into my marriage, but I was so wrong. With tears in my eyes, I chuckled. I want to see Graham's face when he hears this. I shook my head. Karma is the most patient gangster of all. Graham cheated on me and Karma made sure that he ended up with a bitch he deserved. You! Enraged, she got up to hit me, but before she could slap me, Liam came to stand between us and stopped her. Hey, he growled at her, holding her hand. I don't want you to spoil her beautiful face. Liam, Zoe growled, you can't do this to me. Come on, Zoe. Imagine what it would be to have a threesome, he explained. Now calm down. Did you not suggest to Graham that you could have a threesome with her if he wanted? I thought you were broad-minded. She glared at me with jealousy and went to sit back, leaving me shell-shocked. I'd rather kill myself than give in to these crazy monsters. Liam grinned crookedly and went to pour himself a big glass of whiskey from the decanter on the side table. Anyway, Zoe sighed, I thought that by seducing Graham, I would convince him to throw you in the dungeons, but he couldn't. That fucking dimwit was attached to you because of the mate bond. He couldn't take action against you, and look where that brought us. You went into the arms of the most powerful alpha in North America, Alpha Logan. I tried my best to bring you back. I even went to the extent of seducing him, but that bastard had eyes for you. She humphed. My seduction didn't work on him. Besides, my focus was keeping the two packs together. I needed all that money. Let me finish your story now, I said, staring at her. You instigated Graham to put all the money in his account, but that didn't happen because I saved mine. Right, she chirped and clapped. You're getting there. You separated from Graham and marked Alpha Logan as your husband and mate. You were alarmed when I returned to ask for my pack, so you devised this plan to abduct me. Ah, you are not as moron as I thought you were, she said, keeping her hand on her heart. You kind of fell into this trap yourself. Had you not interfered, Alpha Liam would have already killed Graham, and by now we would have been owners of 2 more packs. Enough, Zoe, Liam growled. Don't scare her. He licked his lips, looking at me salaciously. Kylie, I had heard about your stunning looks, but let me tell you, you are everything I've ever fantasized about. Kylie POV, I wanted to slap Alpha Liam for the way he was talking to me. He was such a pervert. Coral wanted to kill him if he dared to touch us. Shut up, I snapped. When Alpha Logan finds out about your deeds, he will make sure you are destroyed. Then I looked at Zoe. You orchestrated my father's death along with Graham to get my pack, but look where that got Graham. He is betrayed by you. I chuckled humorlessly. Look around. Karma is tightening its noose around your neck. Your own mate doesn't believe that it's his pup you are carrying. She snarled, peeling her lips back. Fuck off. We are this close to getting what we wanted. Alpha Liam and I are going to be powerful leaders of 3 packs. She walked to Liam and held his hand. Come on, love. We have to make a strategy on how to fight Graham's warriors. I know all about their secrets and how they plan a battle. She tittered. You know, at one point in time, Graham wanted to fight Alpha Logan and his warriors because of Kylie, but I stopped him because Alpha Logan is so much stronger than him. I stopped him because I wanted to bring together our packs and stand together in a war against Alpha Logan. Alpha Liam smirked. That's right, but I want to spend time with her. Zoe looked hurt. Liam, she is of no use. In a few days, her pack is going to be ours. By the way, have you sent your warriors to attack the lunar pack? He sighed. I know her pack will be ours, baby, but I want to check her out. He winked. I couldn't help laughing when Zoe almost let out a cry. This is the best shit show I've ever watched, I said to her. You came between me and Graham, and see how your mate is doing the same to you. How do tables turn? Isn't it interesting, Zoe? She glared at me and hissed. You mind your own business, bitch. In a few days, I'll be done with you. Oh no, I replied. The only way to stall these monsters was to play mind games with them. From the way Alpha Liam was doubting her and showing interest in me, one thing was sure. He didn't know whether that pup was his or Graham's. And that's what I was going to focus on, create discord between them. In my opinion, you should be bothered about the pup you are carrying. Does it belong to Alpha Liam or Alpha Graham? This is Liam's pup, she shouted. Then you better get a paternity test done, I shrugged. I turned my gaze to Liam and said, because all I can say at this point is that Graham didn't live without her, even for a single day. He was always in her bedroom. She made sure that they had enough sex to weaken me. Liam's face contorted in rage, which meant that my strategy was working. So I added, in fact, there was a time when I wanted to meet Graham, and I couldn't, because he had specifically told his guards that I shouldn't be allowed to get in the room, and the reason being that they were both having sex. Zoe's blood drained from her face. Liam, don't listen to her. You sent me there because we had a mission in mind. We had to take over the lunar pack. His fists clenched. All you had to do was seduce him, Zoe. Did that mean that you had to have sex with him every fucking day? You know, Kylie is right. I used to feel the pain all the time. Liam, Zoe exclaimed, can't you see what she is doing? She is sowing seeds of discord between us. The only way to attract Graham towards me was to have sex with him whenever he wanted. She stabbed her fingers in her hair. This was all a part of a scheme. You can't just blame me now. She went to him and cupped his cheeks. Look at me. I love you a lot. He slapped away her hands. No, you had the option to not sleep with him every other time. It looks like you were having the time of your life. This was what I wanted if I had to escape or buy time. I added, by the way, Zoe, I remember the day you trained with me in the pack house. You said that you were pregnant with Graham's baby, and you had been with him for like 10 days? I suppressed a smile and got up. Tapping my chin, I said, I was surprised by how quickly you could be pregnant with Graham's pup. However, now I remember. Did you not visit him several times earlier? Her eyes popped out in surprise, and when she flushed, I knew I was right. My words hit right on the mark. Liam walked to her and slapped her tight across the face. She cried as she fell on the ground and skidded some 10 feet away. I knew you were a whore. Planning, scheming, and everything else is in one place but you. He strode to her and fisted her hair. You had gone to your lover boy, your childhood sweetheart, to have fun. What? No, she cried. Liam, we are both in this. We are this close to getting what we wanted. Don't get diverted by what she is saying. You worked with me on the outside to attack all the Lunas and the Alphas at the head council meeting to weaken them. This is our chance. We can now attack all of them and become the strongest pack in North America. I gasped. So this was their plan? To weaken the Alphas by attacking them? But Graham brought all the Alphas to vote against me? I rasped. It was Zoe who had convinced Graham to bring all the Alphas to the head council meeting, and then asked Liam to attack them, making it look like a rogue attack. Yes, she said, wiping the blood from her lips. She returned her attention to Liam. Liam, this is our time. You have to. I interjected immediately. You have to get a paternity test done if you have to prove your fidelity to Alpha Liam. I waved at her. What goes around comes back. Why did you ask Graham to give me an anti-pregnancy shot? Because it was your plan to get pregnant with his pup. Liam glared at her and shoved her away. Yes, I want you to get a paternity. She is messing with you, Liam, Zoe cried. Graham wanted a pup with me, and if he had it with her, where would have that left me with all my plans? I shook my head. Zoe, 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 now it's proven. You are carrying Graham's pup. The moon goddess has delivered her justice. Tsk, tsk. You cheated on your husband knowingly. You played with his feelings. Shut up, she yelled. I didn't cheat on Liam. This is Liam's pup. The door suddenly opened, and a tall man with light brown hair walked in. Alpha Liam? Beta Nico? Liam got up with a worried expression on his face. What's wrong? Our warriors attacked the Lunar Pack as you had instructed, and Lunar Pack was losing until... His gaze flitted to me. Alpha Logan came along with his warriors for his Luna. What the fuck? Liam shouted in surprise with wide eyes. How did he know she was here? Zoe POV. My mouth dropped open in shock as I blinked in shock staring at Beta Nico. What are you saying? I rasped. How is this possible? Beta Nico was pretty shaken up. I don't know, Luna Zoe, he said with a hint of irritation. I think you led him to our pack. Me. I snapped my head at Liam, who narrowed his eyes at me. Your beta is talking bullshit. Why will I lead Alpha Logan to us? Kylie interjected. You tried to seduce Alpha Logan when he visited the Lunar Pack. I saw how you went to his room in nothing but a bikini top and cut-off shorts. He later told me you told him how much better you are in bed as compared to me. You bloody slut, Alpha Liam hissed. If I was shocked by what Nico had just said, Kylie's words brought a different terror to my chest. Liam doubted me uselessly. Liam, I went there to stop him from taking Kylie. Why don't you understand she is creating animosity between us? Liam stepped forward and slapped me again on the face. I screamed as I fell on the floor, sliding to hit the table behind me. I cried as my forehead hit the corner and blood oozed out. Stars burst into my vision, and before I could get up, Liam was throttling my neck. Bloody whore! I knew I was never enough for you. Why did you go to seduce Alpha Logan? He said through clenched teeth. I caught his wrist to remove his hand from my neck, but he was too strong for me. Liam, I sputtered as I struggled to breathe. It was all part of the plan. Alpha Liam, Nico shouted and pulled him back. Crawling and gasping for air, I struggled to get back on my feet. I had crafted such a beautiful plan to get 3 packs under us, along with Liam, but Liam doubted me. I sat on my knees and said to him, for the last 2 years, we've been working in tandem. This is our chance. Let's not allow jealousy to ruin our efforts. We are so close to achieving what we always wanted. For the last 2 years, ever since Kylie was married to Graham, I had only one thing in mind, how to get the Lunar and the Night Bloom pack under us. When Graham proposed to me, I believed I would marry him. However, during a casual visit with my friend to the Brown Fur pack, I unexpectedly found my mate, Liam. It was natural that I married him. Graham also found his mate and married her. However, when I came to know that Kylie was the only heir of the Night Bloom pack, and that after her marriage, her pack would be merged with Graham's pack, an idea cropped up. Along with Liam, I went to a witch to buy a love spell and use it on Graham to seduce him, but he fell for me when I gave him a sob story. I thought Kylie would be submissive, but she came out to be a strong Luna. Ripped with jealousy, I entered their marriage, and the rest was history. I was sure that eventually Graham would throw her in the dungeons, and I'll get the pack easily, but the bitch cleverly escaped. Not only that, she got the head council to pass a law for herself and married Alpha Logan. When she came to take her pack back, I slyly lured her out of the pack's territory and into my own, and now she was scheming again. Please, Liam, I breathed as I got up. This is not the time to be angry. I do not know how Alpha Logan is here, but we have to combat him. How are we going to do that? He hissed. Our pack is outnumbered by the vast amount of warriors he has. I'll call Graham and ask him to help us, I suggested. How are you going to do that? Liam asked. You have returned to the Brown Fur pack. Wait and watch, I said as I took my phone out and dialed Graham's number. He picked the phone on the first ring. Zoe, where are you? Fuck, girl, I've been searching for you everywhere. And what about Kylie? Have you killed her? I rolled my eyes, but I had to play my part. Graham, I said in a timid voice. She tried to kill me. I led her away from your pack, but... I sobbed. But what? Graham shouted in panic. But now Alpha Liam has imprisoned both of us. I could tell he froze because of the pause in his voice. Can you save me? I cried. I am coming, baby, he rasped. I'll be right there. Suddenly Kylie shouted, She is wrong, Graham. Zoe has held me captive. I signaled to Beta Nico, who rushed to her and slammed his hand on her mouth. Shut up, he hissed. Is that Kylie? Graham asked, surprised. Yes, we both are held captives by Alpha Liam. But Graham, I heard that Alpha Logan has attacked the brown fur pack. He will kill me for sure when he overtakes this pack. Please save me. I started crying. Don't cry, Zoe, Graham rasped. This is all because of that bitch Kylie. I will attack Alpha Logan's warriors from behind. I'll be there in less than an hour, okay? Then I'll kill Liam and take you from there. But before that, I'll kill Kylie. Okay, I love you. I disconnected the call and looked at my husband smugly. Wiping my fake tears, I said, See, that was easy? Alpha Logan won't even know what hit him from behind. And when Graham comes here to save me, kill him. We'll emerge victorious. What are we going to do with her? He asked, jerking his head towards Kylie. We will use her as a bargaining chip, my dear hubby. She will be our trump card in case things go wrong. For the first time, Liam's lips lifted into a smile. He came to me and kissed me on my lips. Sorry I doubted you, Zoe. Come on, we have to kill people. I chuckled against his mouth, feeling happy. Before leaving, I looked at Kylie and winked at her. She just glared at me as I closed the door. I instructed guards to not allow her to leave the room until further orders. When we came out, I saw everyone was running helter-skelter. Warriors were shouting to go to the borders where Alpha Logan had attacked. Goddess, how much I hated that wolf. He has breached our west perimeter, said Nico. I am going there, but Alpha Liam, go to the north, towards the main gate. That's where most of the fight is taking place. I said, I'll join you. Both Liam and I shifted into our wolves and ran towards the main gate. The area was chaotic. There were so many warriors from the Nord pack that I was aghast. We had to stall them until Graham attacked them from behind. Our warriors were falling, one by one. There was no sign of Alpha Logan. I wished he hadn't entered the main pack. I mind-linked Liam and said, Do you see Alpha Logan? No, he replied as he sank his fangs into a werewolf. But I heard he killed 10 of my wolves before running towards the west. Go to the west, Liam, I shouted. He might be rushing to save Kylie. 20 minutes after Liam left, a warrior informed me that Alpha Graham and his warriors had attacked the Nord pack from behind. Victory was right there. All I had to do was wait for Graham to defeat the Nords and reach me. Then I would kill him easily because he was wolfless. Logan POV. My Kylie was brilliant and courageous, just like I had expected my Luna to be. Sheer informed me that Zoe had maneuvered her into going towards the brown fur pack. She had opened her mind link with him and was in constant touch. Since I had inducted Sheer and Fenris in my pack already, I could establish a mind link with them. Hence, it was easier for all of us to connect. As soon as Alpha Liam and Zoe captured Kylie, Sheer had informed me. My pack members were furious when they found out that Alpha Liam of the brown fur pack had abducted their Luna. Their Alpha had finally found his fated mate and married and marked her. She was the most important high-ranking member of the pack after me. It was different that I considered her higher than me. I loved my Luna. No, I worshipped her. And I was going to destroy the brown fur pack to get her back. Even though I exerted pressure on Katie and Gramps to stay behind during the battle against the brown fur pack, they both refused to listen to me. I couldn't be prouder of my family. Almost all my pack members had accompanied me, apart from the children and old women. Though my pack members had accompanied me in some of the dangerous wars earlier, this was the fiercest one. It was like a matter of honor for them. When we reached the border of the brown fur pack, their warriors were taken by surprise. They closed the gate immediately, but my wolves broke the gate and entered their territory. I was leading them with Katie, Ace, and Grandfather by my side. The roads became stained with blood and lifeless bodies. The pack was filled with shrieks and chaos. Blaze was in a frenzy. He didn't spare anyone who came in his way. I had never seen him this mad in all my life. His emotions resonated with mine. I promised myself that if I found Alpha Liam and Zoe, I would not kill them fast. I will kill them slowly and painfully. I opened my mind link and asked Sheer if Kylie had contacted him. She hasn't, Alpha Logan, he replied as he took a warrior down. Sheer and Fenris were a fantastic team. They were mates, and they looked out for each other. Kylie couldn't choose a better beta for her pack. I gritted my teeth, knowing that Graham was still controlling the two packs. All of a sudden, I heard Kylie through our mind link. The mate bond between us was palpable, and my heart raced with exhilaration as she tugged me through it. "Kylie," I shouted through our mind link, "where are you? I can sense you." "Logan, I am in the west wing of the manor, in some guest room," she replied. Before I knew it, I shifted into my human form and rushed towards the west side of the pack. "I am coming to that side, Kylie. Guide me." Her excitement through our mind link was palpable. I wanted to reach her so fast that I crashed into wolves at the front gate of the manor. They were the guards, 5 of them against me. I gave my skin to Blaze, and in a display of his strength and brute power, he slayed them all in less than 5 minutes. Just when he sank his teeth into the last guard, he saw someone familiar. Zoe was standing there, watching me intently. Blaze tossed the guard away as he growled at her. Dipping his bloodied maw, he glared at her. He peeled his lips back in a lethal snarl and walked towards her like a predator. She stood there, rooted to the spot. I asked Blaze to let me shift. With reluctance, he let me come out, and I came to a stop in front of her. "We meet," I growled. "Where is Kylie?" She clenched her jaws and didn't reply. Suddenly, from the corner of my eye, I saw movement. 3 wolves attacked me at once. I tackled them as they tried to bite my flank and cripple me. But they didn't know Blaze. I shifted again, and Blaze took over. He towered over them and easily killed them before they could even touch his fur. However, Zoe took advantage of it and ran away. Opening my mind link with Ace and Katie, I said, "I want you both to come to the main door of the Alpha's house." "We'll be there in a minute," they replied. A few seconds later, I heard "sure" through my mind. "Alpha Graham has attacked us with his pack wolves from behind." Shock reverberated through my body. "What the fuck? He's a sneaky bastard, Alpha Logan. What should I do?" "Stall him till you can. I have to get Kylie out of this place." Once I rescued Kylie and was in safe hands, I would tackle both Graham and Liam. But where was that bastard Liam? As I ran inside, I heard Ace and Katie coming behind me. Grandfather also accompanied them, along with a dozen more warriors. As we ran inside, we met with some warriors and Omegas. While the Omegas ran away screaming, the warriors fought with us. Blaze killed all of them in a haze of insanity. He just wanted to reach his mate. "Kylie," I shouted through my mind link. "Where are you?" "I am 2 floors up, Logan," she replied. "There are 4 guards stationed outside the door." Blaze veered left and climbed the staircase, running like a bullet shot from a gun. He picked up Kylie's scent and reached the room. The guards stationed there were taken aback. They shifted into their wolves, but they were no match for me, my sister, and Beta. I shifted and banged open the door, but the sight in front of me chilled the blood in my veins. "Did you think it was so easy to take her out of here?" Alpha Liam growled. He had twisted her arm behind her and slammed her to his chest with one hand as with the other he held a silver knife at her neck. Her eyes were filled with terror, which slammed right into my chest through the bond. "How did this happen?" "Leave her," I growled back. "If you leave her, I'll kill you quickly. If you don't, I'll capture you and kill you slowly." He cocked his eyebrow and laughed like a maniac. "Alpha Logan, let's talk business. I'll make a deal with you. In exchange for Kylie, you give me your pack." I asked those behind me to calm down. They were snarling and growling at Liam. I narrowed my eyes and said, "My pack?" "Yes," he replied, taking a step back as he darted his eyes towards those behind me. "Graham has attacked you from behind. He will soon defeat you." I was pretty confused. When he was so sure that Graham would defeat me, why was he with Kylie with this bargain? Shouldn't he be with Zoe? What was going on? But it took a second for me to realize that he was buying time. "You think Graham is so strong that he can defeat me?" I said. "Let's play the game." "He can't," Kylie breathed, "because my pack members aren't supporting Graham. They have revolted against him. It's only his pack members who are with him." We were all completely surprised by her words. I recovered instantly, and to add pressure, I added, "And guess what? My cousin from the Norse pack has attacked Graham from behind." Liam's jaw dropped as he stared at me with shock. "You're lying," he hissed. "I'll kill her if you take one step forward." "You won't," I hissed back, taking a menacing step towards him. Before my mind could grasp the situation, Kylie swiftly seized Liam's hand with the knife and forcefully twisted it behind his back. Next, she kicked his groin. He groaned in pain as he tried to get out of her grasp, but she was quicker. She grabbed a marble statue from the side and slammed it right into his chest. We heard bones cracking. Alpha Liam fell to the floor, letting out expletives. "Foo!" Kylie rasped as I gaped at my Luna with awe. Kylie POV. After Zoe closed the door behind her, leaving me alone in the room with 4 guards stationed outside, I was so mentally exhausted that I wanted to sit and let my mind go blank. I was extremely thirsty and hungry. I looked around for water. Surprisingly, on the side table where Alpha Liam had poured himself whiskey, there were also glasses of water and some delectable red velvet pastries. Taking a deep breath in, I went to have a pastry and gobbled it up. When I was flushing it down my throat with water, I felt like the room was spinning. "Shit!" I rasped. "Kylie," Coral said, "I think there was a drug in the pastry." "Fuck!" I rushed to the bathroom to make myself vomit. Using my index finger to stimulate my throat, I vomited in the basin. I was panting, heaving as I grabbed the counter and vomited. Once done, I rinsed my mouth. All of a sudden, I heard Logan through our mind link. "Where are you?" Excited that he was around, I replied to him. Then instead of having the water from the jug inside the room, I drank some from the bathroom. At least that wasn't drugged. In this situation, only water was going to help me. Since I had vomited all of it out, I knew the drug wouldn't affect me much. I grabbed the counter to stabilize. Taking a deep breath in, I walked out of the room only to see that Alpha Liam was there. Bewildered, my eyes widened. "Where did he come from?" "Kylie," he said, watching me carefully. "I've been thinking a lot." I didn't reply to him as I held the door frame and watched him cautiously. My head was still spinning a little, and I knew that if I took a step ahead, I would stumble. That was going to show that I was under the effect of the drug. When I didn't answer and continued to stare at him, he took a step towards me and said, "I have a proposition. Once we win over, I would like you to remain by my side. My wolf feels excited around you and—" He took another step in my direction. "And so I'd love to taste you. When the right time comes, I'll separate from Zoe." I couldn't believe the audacity of this bastard. There was a war going on in his pack. Instead of being with his pack members, he returned to me. "What a douche you are!" I rasped in a hoarse voice because my throat was still hurting. "My Alpha is here to rescue me. It's just a matter of time." He chuckled as he came to stand in front of me and tucked a strand of my hair behind my ear. I flinched, jerking away from him. "Kylie, don't dream. Alpha Logan is under attack from Alpha Graham, and his warriors are on the verge of being wiped out. I know you won't like it, but your only chance is to be with me. Besides, don't worry. Zoe is taking care of my pack." Logan's voice slammed back in my mind, and he asked me to guide him. Using our mind link, I informed him I was on the 2nd floor. I was about to tell him I was with Liam, when suddenly, Liam grabbed my waist and pulled me closer to him. I shouted as I struggled to get free from him. The drug still addled my mind and my limbs were not that agile. "Coral, fight him!" I exclaimed. She growled inside, but she was also fighting the drug in our body. "Leave me," I growled. He dipped his nose in the crook of my neck and inhaled my scent. "Kylie, I know you are drugged, so stop resisting me. Have you heard the saying, when you can't fight, lie down and enjoy?" "Fuck off, you pervert," I muttered through my short breaths. Liam laughed and lifted his head to look at me. "You're adorable." I heard Sheer in my mind. "Luna, Kylie, the Nightbloom pack members have revolted against Alpha Graham. They haven't accompanied him to the war." Pleasant surprise washed over me as warmth flooded in my chest. "How do you know?" I asked. Sheer chuckled. "I have my resources. I am still fighting in the front of the brown fur pack. We'll reach you as soon as possible." Liam's voice pulled me out of my mind link with Sheer. He said, "I will fuck you. Don't worry." However, the moment those words came out, he tensed. He just held my arm, twisted it, and spun me around. Slamming me to his chest, he placed a silver knife on my neck, which he took out from his pants pocket. The sequence of events was so swift that I couldn't process them, caught off guard. The door banged open, and I saw Logan entering the room, along with his warriors. Excitement surged through me as I smiled at my mate. Since the silver knife was on my neck, I didn't move, and I let them all talk. Slowly, the effect of my drug waned and took Liam down. He was totally shocked. When I turned to look at Alpha Logan and the rest, I found them gaping. "What?" I shrugged. Logan grinned, and I rushed into his arms. I missed his scent and his warmth and his protective arms. Logan wrapped me in his arms tightly and picked me up by the waist. "I missed you, love," he said. "I missed you too," I said and seized his lips with mine. When we both pulled away, I was gasping for air. I rested my head on his shoulder, a sense of relief flooding in me. "We have work to do," I murmured. From the corner of my eyes, I saw others rushing to capture Alpha Liam. I knew he'd end up in the dungeons, getting tortured. "Yes," he replied. "I would be honored if you fight along my side." "Of course, love," I replied enthusiastically. The effect of the drug was gone. "Let's go." When he set me on my feet, I hugged Katie tightly. She was the bestest friend I could ever have in my life. Grandfather Hanks was grinning away to glory. I never expected him to join the battle. He said, "I never doubted your caliber, Kylie, and I am really proud of you." I bowed to him, and he took me into his warm embrace. "My grandson has somehow gotten lucky to find you." The brown fur pack wasn't large, and so our warriors took it down soon. I searched for Zoe everywhere, but it was as if she had disappeared into thin air. The sly bitch had managed to escape, fully aware of her slim chances of winning. Still, I sent my warriors to hunt for her. Seeing that the Norse pack had attacked him from behind, Graham couldn't hold it any longer. He had to back off. For the first time, I saw my mate fighting with me. He exuded the poise and charm of a mighty wolf. There was no wolf who was this beautiful when he fought. The sight of his well-built body made me fall deeper in love, and my mind immediately started conjuring up all sorts of fantasies. Once we won the battle, we didn't go back because my pack members were still without a land of their own. They had migrated to the Lunar Pack after the merger. Most of the Nord Pack members stayed in tents outside the Brown Fur Pack, while the high-ranking members stayed in the solitary hotel inside the pack's territory. Wrapped tightly in each other's arms, Logan and I slept soundly, clinging to one another as if the fear of separation was still fresh. There were no words, no sex, only companionship and love. We made a crucial decision the next day. Kylie POV. Logan had asked his pack members to accommodate the Nightbloom pack members in their tents for a day, until we decided where they were going to stay eventually. I wanted to meet all my pack members after the war, but I wanted them to settle down and also come up with a decision before I met them. Since we were all too tired to decide the same day, we rested in our rooms. However, we all met the next day. In the conference room of the hotel, Alpha Logan made me sit on his right, and I sat there proudly. "Shall I tell them my decision?" I murmured to him. "This is your victory, love," he whispered, "and whatever you decide, I'll go with it." I looked at all who were in front of me. Sure, the council members of the Brown Fur Pack, Ace, my family members, Alpha Jared of the Norse Pack, and some senior members of the Nightbloom Pack. The weight of the decisions I had to make, knowing they would have long-term effects on them, was truly overwhelming. Taking a deep breath in, I said, "Thank you all for being with me. This is one of the most important days that will go down in the history of times, and so I want to make it right for everyone. I will come straight to the point." I paused to scan the people in the room. They looked eagerly at me, except for the wolves of the Brown Fur Pack. The Nord Pack has defeated the Brown Fur Pack with the help of the Norse Pack, and Alpha Liam is our captive. Starting today, the Brown Fur Pack and the Nightbloom Pack will be combined. Murmurs surfaced immediately, and I could see protest in the eyes of the Brown Fur Pack members. My wolf bristled because, being an alpha wolf, she didn't like people challenging her. So I raised my voice and said, "There will be no discussion about this decision. The Brown Fur Pack will be merged with the Nightbloom Pack." "I could have ousted all of you and dismissed you as rogues," I growled. "But I hate to see a flourishing community like yours to be rogues." My words hit the mark, and they all became silent. The Nightbloom Pack members will live in this pack's territory, but we will be expanding this territory to accommodate them. I am not asking you to share your homes with them, but I am asking you to be with them in this challenging time. For the first time in my life, my pack members smiled at me with pride on their faces. One of them thumped the table in front of me to support my decision, and all others joined him. Suddenly, Logan interjected, "I will sanction $40 million to build new homes for the Nightbloom pack members." More thumping followed as my chest swelled with pride. I mouthed, "I love you," to him, and he grinned. The Brown Fur Pack members cooled down because this kind of investment meant new jobs. Taking a rough breath in, I continued, "Since I will stay with my husband and my mate, I appoint Sheer as the alpha in command for the moment." "What?" Sheer's mouth dropped. But you are the alpha of this pack," he rasped. Not only he, everyone else was taken by surprise. I intertwined my fingers with Logan's and held our hands up. "I just got married, guys. It's important for me to spend some quality time with my husband and mate. Give me some time, please," I whined. A few chuckles followed, and then the whole room burst into laughter, including my husband. Wondering what was so funny, I blinked at them with confusion. I had just got married and haven't been able to spend time with him at all. I looked at Grandfather Hanks, and he too was laughing. In fact, he was laughing so hard that he was wiping tears from his eyes. I blushed heavily. Alpha Logan pulled me from my chair and made me sit in his lap. "What?" I exclaimed. He shook his head as he continued to laugh. "Nothing, sweetheart. You made the right decision." My lips curled up. "Then why are you all laughing?" "Because you are so adorable. Goddess, how could I get so lucky?" he said and kissed my temple. My chest filled with warmth. I elbowed him lightly in the banter. "I have one more announcement to make." "Sure," he said warmly. I turned my face to the people and said, "Since the Beta Nico is dead, Fenris will be your new Beta." This time Fenris's mouth dropped to the floor. I nodded firmly. "Yes, you. And both you and Sheer are going to take the responsibility from today. Our plan is to visit the Moon Goddess Temple and perform the ceremony tonight." Both Sheer and Fenris got up from their chairs, their expressions full of gratitude. Sheer said, "Alpha Kylie, we both are going to do our best to lead your pack until you want us." Goddess. Alpha Kylie sounded so good. I smiled at them. "Thank you. Also, it is time that you tell everyone that you both are mates." A moment of stunned silence later, murmurs rippled in the room. I silenced them all by saying, "After you both have taken the oath for the pack, I will make sure that you are married officially by the shaman in the temple." Fenris blushed as Sheer looked at him with tenderness. "Thank you so much, Alpha Kylie," Sheer said. One of the pack members of the Brown Fur Pack raised his hand. "What will be the new name of our pack?" That was a question I was dreading because I didn't want to hurt the feelings of any of the pack members. Thankfully, this time, Grandfather Hanks intervened. According to the laws, since it was the Nord Pack that defeated the Brown Fur Pack, the Brown Fur Pack members will be now a part of the Nord Pack. The name Brown Fur will no longer exist, and everyone will be called members of the Nord Pack. He looked at us. The Nightbloom Pack participated in the war by boycotting the Lunar Pack, making them equally involved. It is up to the Nord Pack and the Nightbloom Pack to decide upon the name. Elder Hanks smiled and added, "The decision of naming the new pack is up to your Alpha and Luna." Excitement surged through me. I bit my lower lip as I glanced nervously at Logan. With another kiss on my temple, he declared, "We shall name the new pack the Nightbloom Pack." Cheers erupted in the room as my pack members hugged and congratulated each other. I blinked away the tears from my eyes. "Thank you," I whispered to Logan. "How could I steal your thunder, Kylie?" He said, making me fall in love with him more than ever. He respected my feelings so much that I was getting afraid of it. With a deep breath, I turned to him completely, my arms instinctively wrapping around his neck. "I'm proud of you," I said through a choked throat and slammed my lips on his. He sighed and opened his mouth for me. His hands slid beneath my shirt, cupping my boob. We both kissed each other passionately without realizing that the room had gone silent. "Get a room, both of you." Katie's sharp voice broke our reverie. I blushed till my neck as Logan growled at her. The meeting was adjourned. I went to the rest of my pack members to talk to them and express my appreciation for their support. Next chapter would be Graham's POV. What do you expect? Graham POV. After Zoe had called me, I was panicky. She was under so much stress that she was crying. That bastard Liam had kidnapped her as well as Kylie. I wasn't worried about Kylie. It was Zoe that I wanted to be with, and I wanted to get her out of the brown fur pack as soon as possible. Alpha Logan had attacked the brown fur pack for Kylie, and that sent me into another frenzy of panic. I was sure that once he found the two of them, he was going to kill Zoe. I had to save her at all costs, so I commanded all my warriors to attack Alpha Logan's warriors, but something strange occurred. None of the warriors in the Nightbloom pack complied with my command. They revolted against me, saying that they were with their real alpha, Alpha Kylie. Dread skittered down my spine when I saw them revolting. Asher struggled to keep them under control, but the Nightbloom pack's higher representation in the Lunar pack made it impossible. We were just outnumbered. Frustrated as hell, I attacked Alpha Logan with my pack members. They were all taken by surprise. We were slowly winning, but then again, something unwarranted happened. Alpha Jared from the Norse pack attacked us from behind. We were sandwiched between the Nord and the Norse packs, and I knew it was impossible to win. Without my wolf, I couldn't lead my warriors so well, and eventually we had to retreat. Upon my return, I discovered that the majority of my pack's dwellings were deserted, as Kylie's pack had already left. It hit me hard, making me feel like I had fallen short in some aspect. The combination of defeat and retreat ignited a fury within me, intensifying my humiliation. It all happened because of Kylie. Had she not come here and challenged me, Zoe wouldn't have taken the fall for me. When Asher later informed me that Alpha Logan had defeated the brown fur pack and taken Alpha Liam captive, I asked, "Where is Zoe?" Asher shook his head. "No one has seen her. We believe she is still in the dungeons of the brown fur pack." Oh, now the name brown fur is officially removed from usage. The name has been changed to the Nightbloom pack by Luna Kylie as a result of her pack members being relocated there. I clenched my teeth and let out a frustrated growl. It has all happened because of her. I want her dead. I took a ragged breath in and added, "Find Zoe before she falls in the hands of our enemies. She is pregnant with my pup." "Alpha Graham," Asher said, "I heard that Alpha Logan will travel back to his pack today. Maybe we can attack them?" I narrowed my eyes. It was a good idea if all my pack members were intact, but now it seemed like a very bad idea. "No, we won't attack them, but I have something in mind." Along with Asher and a few of my warriors, I went to the highway from where Kylie and Logan were supposed to travel and blocked it. I needed answers. They slowed down when they saw us. Alpha Logan and Kylie stepped out of the car, along with Ace and Katie. Some warriors got down and surrounded them for protection. I wanted to throttle the life out of her, but I clenched my jaws to remain calm. She came to stand in front of her car along with her husband and crossed her arms across her chest. "What do you want, Graham?" she asked with irritation. "What do I want?" I hissed. "Where is Zoe? Give me my Zoe. She is pregnant with my pup. You can't imprison her." "Zoe has escaped," Kylie said. My eyes grew wide in disbelief. "Liar. Alpha Liam captured her. The two of you were in the dungeons together when she called me. How could she escape?" "Alpha Logan attacked the brown fur pack, and I know that you have renamed that pack as the Nightbloom pack. Are you feeling relieved now that you have your pack back and caught Zoe too? You are such a hypocrite. When you are captured, your husband attacks other packs to free you. Then why wouldn't you free my Zoe? Liam abused her. She is fragile, helpless, and pregnant." Kylie jerked her head back, then her face twisted with anger. "When Zoe had that conversation with you on the phone, I was there, and Alpha Liam hadn't captured her, he had captured me. All this was a wicked scheme of Zoe. Zoe isn't fragile or helpless. She was never abused by Alpha Liam. In fact, they both wanted to take over the Lunar and the Nightbloom pack, and so they made a plan to trap you and I." "What? How conceited are you?" I shouted with a voice filled with despair. "Now that you've got your pack, your money, and a mate, you are robbing me of my happiness." The next moment, Alpha Logan was on my throat. "How dare you speak like this with my Luna?" he growled as his muscles bulged. The bastard was too strong for me because I didn't have my wolf. I sputtered and coughed as I struggled to release my throat from his grasp. Kylie came behind him and murmured something, after which he left me and stepped back. Asher held my shoulders as I gasped for breath. Kylie took Logan back to the car and rubbed his forearm. He visibly calmed down. She turned to look at me and said, Graham, it is your wish to believe me or not. In reality, Zoe was part of an elaborate plan with her husband to take over our packs, and this all started when my father was killed. I flinched upon hearing about her father. What do you mean? I asked in a low voice. She glared at me for a moment. I think you know what I mean. After all, it was you who killed my father along with her, didn't you? Graham POV. What? No. Never! I blurted. She chuckled humorlessly. Zoe confessed she murdered my father because our packs would have merged once he passed away, as dictated by the laws. She also asked you to give me an anti-pregnancy shot for a period of 2 years so that I couldn't have babies with you. And she did all this just for her own ambitions, to become the Luna of 3 packs without having to fight. She shook her head. She played you right from the beginning, and you got played flawlessly. I am so happy that you got what you deserved, a pathetic bitch like Zoe. A shudder ran down my spine. Zoe had confessed? At first, my mind went numb, and I stared at her with a blank expression. I said through my clenched teeth, "This is all a fucking lie. Zoe was never involved in killing your father. He died of a heart attack." I swallowed saliva down my throat. Zoe needed my protection because she was abused. "Stop lying," she yelled. "For goodness' sake, stop lying. You and Zoe killed my father to usurp my pack. You thought you were doing it, and only you and Zoe were involved in it?" She let out a rough exhale. "Well, let me inform you. She did it at Alpha Liam's behest. You thought you could make her your Luna after throwing me in dungeons, all while making it appear like a natural consequence of a jealous Luna? But did you know that she would have returned to her husband?" I blanched. "No, Zoe loves me, and you have no witness about your father," I said, my voice turning to whisper. "Oh, don't worry," Kylie replied with red eyes, as if she was stopping her tears. "I will slap a case of murder against you and your Zoe in the head council. You will soon hear from me." Logan held her hand and brushed her knuckles. He tugged her to sit in the car, but she resisted, turned to look over her shoulder at me and said, "That pup isn't yours. It belongs to Alpha Liam. I am a she-wolf and I know how to add up the dates. Just do some math and you'll know." Saying that, she went to sit in the car. My mind went into a loop of turmoil. Asher signaled his warriors to remove the blockade, and I saw their cars zipping past us. She threatened me of slapping another case on me about her father's murder. How could Zoe confess this to her? And why? It made little sense. Was Zoe under pressure when she confessed it? I returned to my pack with more regret than ever. It was late in the night, and I didn't want to meet anyone. My pack was silent, as if they were mourning the loss of the dead. I went to my room, which felt like an empty nest now. I wanted to think of Zoe, but all I was thinking about was Kylie. I poured a glass of whiskey for myself, but I gulped it in one go and picked up the whole bottle instead. The burning sensation of whiskey did nothing to quell my dread and misery. I felt like a husk. I remembered how Kylie used to come to me in times of melancholy and my mood would lift. She was my mate, and losing my mate was gnawing at my soul. My wolf had receded in the corners of my mind, refusing to come out, mourning the loss of his mate. I was sure that after marrying and marking Zoe, he would return, but after what Kylie said to me today, I wondered if there was any truth in Zoe's claim. If Zoe wasn't pregnant with my pup, then all that I cherished would be lost in vain. I tipped my head up and closed my eyes. My thoughts ran to how Zoe helped me in killing Alpha Jonas Kennedy. We had used an Omega's help who was later never heard of. I stabbed my fingers in my hair. Did Zoe really play with me? Kylie had definitely planted seeds of doubt in my mind. I started calculating the days when I met Zoe and when we fucked each other. Zoe said that she was pregnant with my pup. Then how come Kylie was so sure that she was pregnant with Liam's pup? Goddess! If that was the truth, I would be damned. Frustration mounted and I threw the bottle across the room with a roar. "Zoe!" I shouted, as if she would come instantly and talk to me. I had never regretted so much in my life. I had lost my mate and Luna for a dream that wasn't there. Or was it? Haze of confusion clouded my mind. Being my childhood sweetheart, I loved Zoe a lot. I couldn't believe that she could deceive me. I know Alpha Liam abused her, but I grabbed my hair with my hands. She never showed me where he whipped her or hit her. I recalled how Kylie was bruised when I hit her, but Zoe never had those kinds of marks. Ever since I became the alpha of the lunar pack, I wanted it to grow stronger and bigger. With both Kylie and Zoe on my side, I dreamt of being the happiest wolf. But Kylie thwarted my plans. Kylie, Kylie, Kylie. I took a deep breath in. She depended so on me after her father's death. I loved when she looked at me with all her love. It was never the same with Zoe. Fuck! The weight of losing my mate hit me like a ton of bricks. I rubbed my chest and then thumped it to shake out the feeling of sorrow and distress. Suddenly, the door opened and Asher walked in with a tablet in his hand. Alpha Graham, you must see this recorded video. What is it? I asked as he handed me the tablet. He played it, and my eyes grew wide in shock. It was a video of security footage in which Zoe was running to meet someone at my pack's boundary. She handed over a manila envelope to a man standing beneath a tree. When I pinched the picture out, I was surprised to see that it was Liam staring back at me. Kylie POV. For a long time, I didn't speak in the car as I thought about Graham and his blind love and support for Zoe. How could he not see her deceit? Why was it that every time I tried to open his eyes, he would get even more irritated? I sighed as I looked out of the window towards the mountains and valleys and pines and firs that I had grown attached to. Along with Graham, I used to run in this forest in our wolf forms, times when Zoe wasn't there. At least that's what I assumed. But she was there, watching us all the time, strategizing her next move while I was so oblivious to her evil intentions, while I was committed to my pack's well-being. I trusted Graham with all my heart, and he broke my heart with all his might. Kylie? Logan's voice pulled me out of my reverie. I snapped my head to look at him and forced a smile. Only when he wiped my cheeks, I realized I was crying. What are you thinking about? He asked. I shook my head. In a voice choked with emotions, I said, I want to go to the temple of the moon goddess and offer my prayers to her once we are in the Nord pack. His brows scrunched. Sure, but why? Because I want to thank her for giving me a second chance mate. He stared at me intensely and pulled me close to him. Wrapping his brawny arm around me, he said, In that case, I have to go with you because I have been luckier in this department. I giggled. I love you, Alpha Logan. He kissed the crown of my head, and I love you more. Inhaling his scent, I settled my head on his chest as we drove to the Nord pack. I wanted to think of my next step, but all I did was sleep. When we reached our pack, he carried me in his arms all the way to our bedroom and settled me on the bed. After he helped me strip my clothes, he stripped his and spooned me from behind. How could I not revel in his warm embrace? I woke up in the middle of the night with a wet dream and a popping sound. Ah! Logan! My body had its own mind when I was around Logan. I cupped his face and seized his lips, kissing him hard. He groaned and wrapped me in his arms, crushing me hard against his chest. His tongue slid against mine as he cupped my face and pressed his weight on my body, pushing me into the mattress. His lips left my mouth, and he trailed down to the slope of my throat. When he scraped his teeth and nipped my skin, I moaned. He licked my mark, and desire flooded my veins. And then he looked at me like I was something precious, something so stunning that... I want to worship your body, he said, making my breath lodge in my throat. You will be my death, and I can't ever get enough of you. He studied me for what seemed like an eternity, making me squirm beneath him. Say, you're mine, he growled as he stared at me, his eyes flashing golden. Yours, I'm yours. We were both breathless but far from satiety. Do you know when I fell in love with you? He said between his breaths. When? When I first saw you in college. If I hadn't returned, I would have made you mine. I turned to him and cupped his beautiful face. With a ragged breath, I said, I wish you had done that. Truth be told, I'd been falling for Alpha Logan ever since I saw him in the lunar pack for the first time. I wish I had done that, but all's well that ends well, right? I nodded past the knot in my throat and curled up against him. He pulled me over his chest. I snuggled in his chest and closed my eyes, tired and satiated. Tomorrow I will think about how to bring Zoe back. Tomorrow I will think about how to exact my final revenge on Graham. Kylie POV. I had to push Logan out of bed to have breakfast, and he pulled me right back. Damn it. He was a priapic. Let's go on our honeymoon, he urged as he buried his face in the crook of my neck. He licked my mark, and a shudder ran through my body, desire pooling right between my legs. We had taken a bath together, and I was standing in front of the mirror, wrapped in a towel, drying my hair. He curled his arms on my waist and started kissing me as I watched us in the mirror. "Logan," I breathed. Oh God!" He started kissing my throat and nibbled my earlobe. If I had one more round of sex with him, which I was dangerously edging towards, I was sure I wouldn't be able to walk. Our eyes locked in the mirror and he smirked. Bastard knew the effect he had on me. I was flushed till my neck, and when the hell did the dryer fall on the floor? "Only for a week," he urged. "Logan, I want behind us. It is fresh, and I want to hit it when the iron is hot. Graham should face punishment so that he fully understands the consequences that await him." "The only hot steel that should hit you is mine," he replied. "It's needy and has developed its own mind." Gah! I let out a frustrated sigh because my body was also responding to his. He turned me towards him and cupped my face. "Okay, how about this? Only 2 days, you and me. I'll take you to my secret hideout in the forest, and we'll just let our wolves free." Coral instantly purred inside me, wagging her tail like a puppy. I could sense how Blaze was also excited to hear that they would be free and meet each other finally. I pursed my lips because no matter how much I tried to push her down, Coral just wouldn't listen to me. "Please, I want to meet Blaze," she exclaimed. "It's only 2 days. Please, Kylie." I let out a rough exhale. "Okay, let me mull over it." He pressed a kiss on my lips. When he removed, he said, "You can take your time, love, but we are going this evening." He turned and walked away with a cocky smile. What the hell? What is the precise meaning of mull when he has already decided? At breakfast, Katie was her usual chirpy self. Ace was sitting right next to her, watching her with a silly smile on his face. I wondered if these two were also at it last night. I really had to delve further into their story, but for now, I had to focus on Graham. Suddenly, Logan declared, "Kylie and I are going for our honeymoon for 2 days." I blushed a deep crimson as my mouth dropped to the floor, and I glared at him. "Logan," he shrugged and his lips curled up. "What? You only said that you wanted to go." "When did I say that?" I rasped. "Don't you remember, honey?" he replied with a crease on his forehead. "You said that when we were in the Night Bloom pack. In fact, I remember how you declared it in front of everyone that you wanted to spend time with me." "Oh, MG," he distorted my words completely. "I said that, but I didn't mean like that," I blabbered. "Didn't mean like what? You don't want to spend time with me?" he asked, his face having that typical wounded expression. "Of course I want to spend time with you," he grinned. "Then it's decided. We are going." "Wait," I protested. Katie burst out laughing. "Oh, come on, Kylie. Don't be such a spoil sport. You both need this badly." "I agree with Katie," Ace supported her. "You both are traitors," I hissed. "We love you," Katie giggled. What Katie said, Ace smiled. Unbeknownst, his hand went to her back, and he rubbed it lightly as if it was natural. Grandfather Hanks entered the kitchen with a twinkle in his eyes. I got up to bow to him. He said, "Kylie, you don't have to bow to me every time you see me, okay?" He went to sit beside Ace, and Ace immediately straightened up. I don't know what I mumbled, but I nodded and sat down. We all had our breakfast first in silence for a few minutes when I spoke up. "Logan, where is Alpha Liam right now?" He paused eating and stared at me. "He is lodged in our dungeons, and today will be his first torture session." "Why?" I realized everyone was now looking at me. Taking a ragged breath in, I looked at Grandfather. "I want to file a case against Graham in the High Council," I said. "He and Zoe murdered my father. How soon can I do that?" Grandfather placed his fork and spoon on the table as he rested back on the chair. "Kylie, you've just come back after a dangerous battle in which 4 packs were involved. Take some rest." I shook my head. "I can't. Graham should be punished for what he did to me, so please tell me what I can do." "Well, technically, you can file the case anytime soon, but," he leaned forward, resting his elbows on the table and steepling his fingers below his chin. "You don't have any evidence against Graham. You can't do a thing if you don't have evidence. If you cannot prove that he is guilty of murder, then the council will ban you from filing any case for 1 year." A knot twisted in my stomach. I bit my lip and started chewing it. He continued, "So you better be sure of filing a case against him. Zoe is also at large. She is crucial to the case. Without her, how are you going to prove it? Kylie POV. I licked my lips. That's why I want Liam to stay in his senses, I said, turning towards Logan. If you'll torture him, he will lose it, and I need him to speak against Graham in the High Council. Even without Zoe, we can win this case. He shook his head. Kylie, if you want, I will spare him for a few days. But what makes you think he will accept his crime? Logan is right, grandfather supported him. Liam will never confess to his crime, because that would mean that he would be thrown in the dungeons of the High Council. And the dungeons of the High Council are notorious for their hellish conditions. Nothing you can even think of. As a matter of fact, if his case is not proven, we will have to grant him freedom. I gasped. No, please don't do that. Grandfather exhaled roughly. Those are the laws, Kylie. My hands are tied, so whatever you do, do it with caution. I pursed my lips, feeling defeated already. Logan brought his hand and placed it on my thigh beneath the table. Don't worry, love. We'll find something against Graham. Have you sent wolves to hunt her? I asked him. Ace intervened. Yes, Luna Kylie. I have sent my wolves everywhere to hunt her, but she is still at large. However, it is early and she could be hiding anywhere. Is it possible that she has gone into the human world? Katie mused. I shook my head. I highly doubt that. She is pregnant, without money, and she is at the risk of being identified and killed. The human towns are very far. She won't venture on that side. You can't be sure about that snake. Katie snapped. I hope I catch her before you guys catch her. I swear I'm going to make her pay for her sins like hell. Even though Katie looked furious, I couldn't help a feeling of warmth surging through my chest. She was my best friend and now my sister-in-law, and now she supported me with full might. Enough, Tiger, Ace chided her. You'll get to play with your prize after I've caught her. I chuckled. I think Ace was into Kylie more than he cared to admit it. Anyway, Logan interrupted the conversation. So about the honeymoon. Oh, where are you going for it? Grandfather asked, and I blushed again. Why don't you go to our island in the Mediterranean? If you want, I can also let you go to our Bahamas island, which I bought for your grandma. My eyebrows shot to the hairline. Grandfather had bought an island for his wife, and this family had an island in the Mediterranean. Logan shook his head. I am taking my Kylie to a secret hideaway, and she has agreed for 2 days. I didn't agree with it at all, I whined. Now, don't lie, love, Logan exclaimed. You just agreed, didn't she, Katie? Yes, she agreed, Katie nodded vehemently. What Katie says, Ace said, sighing and looking at her with puppy eyes even though no one asked for his opinion. As soon as breakfast was over, Logan and Ace went to the office while I went back to the bedroom with Katie. I took her hand in mine and made her sit on the bed. You better tell me what is going on between you and Ace, I inquired, curiosity killing me. She blushed and tucked a strand of hair behind her ear. It's nothing. It can't be anything, I said, exasperated. Why are you hiding it? She lowered her head and fidgeted with her fingers. I curled my fingers beneath her chin, forcing her to lift her face. Her eyes were red as tears pooled. Katie? I hugged her immediately. Tell me everything, please. I rubbed her back gently until she settled down. When he pulled away from me, she took a deep breath in. Ace's parents are against this marriage. Whoa, why? Does Logan know about it? Her words took me by surprise. She was the daughter of the most powerful alpha in North America, granddaughter of the head of the Elder Council, and Ace's parents didn't see that? She shook her head. Please don't tell him anything. Wiping her tears, she looked away. His mother wants him to marry their business partner's daughter. He has refused to marry her, though. I blinked at her with my mind stuttering. Excuse me, but your brother is wealthier than God. I mean, if this is about money, then you are way more richer than Ace. I wish it was about money. There's something I can't put my finger on, but I don't care. This was the first time Katie had opened up with me. I didn't ask her more questions because I didn't want to push her and make her feel uncomfortable. Okay, so do you want me to deal with it? Hell no, she snapped, at least not now. I grabbed her hand and closed mine around it. I am there if you need me, okay? She smiled, and I wrapped her again in my hug. Logan drove me to his secret hideout, and I was surprised that it was in the middle of nowhere. Nestled deep in the forest, he had a beautiful log cabin. Surrounded by trees on all sides, it was secluded. A cobbled pathway led to a porch where there was a swing. "It's beautiful," I exclaimed as he picked up my luggage and walked behind me. "I built it long back," he said with a grin as I unlocked the door with the key. I was extremely angry after I came back from the college that day. "Which day?" I asked as I walked inside. The cabin was cozy and smelled of polished wood. On the right was a small open kitchen with an island table, and on the left was a small living room. He went ahead and disappeared into a room. I followed him into the bedroom that had a double bed in the center and other minimal furniture. "The day I met you in college," he said. I gasped. He turned to look at me intensely. "That day I just wanted to let my steam off, and the idea of having sex with anyone other than you was repulsive. So I informed Ace that I was not coming back to the pack. Instead, I ran here and—" He pursed his lips and waved at the cabin with both hands. And this happened. Emotions choked my throat. I ran to him, and he pulled me up immediately, locking my thighs around his waist. "Alpha Logan, this is the perfect place for our honeymoon." And I slammed my lips to his. After I kissed him, he rested his forehead on mine. "Blaze is dying to meet his mate. He wants to hunt with Coral." "Coral also wants to be with him," I murmured. It was dark outside, but both of us gave our skins to our wolves. Coral yelped as soon as she was out, wagging her tail as Blaze just stood there confidently, letting her do what she wanted to. She licked Blaze and then darted towards the forest. Blaze followed her closely behind. He hunted a bunny for her and dropped it at her feet as an offering. She picked the bunny and carried it to stow it under a tree. What she did after that was absolutely shocking. Coral went to stand in front of Blaze and turned around. With her ass in his face, she presented herself to him. Blaze let out a dangerous rumble before mounting her, Kylie POV. We returned after 2 days of nonstop sex and fun. When Logan was putting the luggage in the Jeep's trunk, I said, "I want to come here again." He curled his arms around my waist and grinned. "I knew you would like it." He was only wearing his jeans and looking so rugged and ripped that I couldn't help but keep kissing his chest. Damn. Alpha Logan was the most handsome wolf on this planet. "I love it," I exclaimed. "Had you told me back then that you'd built a cabin for me, I would have married you." He roared with laughter. "Had I told you that, you would have run miles away from me, perhaps thinking that I was some kind of stalker and kidnapper." I buried my face in his chest. "No." Married to the man who was also known as a dreamboat, eye candy, a stud and a snack, was surreal. He kissed the crown of my head. "In that case, I'll build a time machine and we'll go back to where we started." "How about that?" I chuckled. "Do that and I'll come to you." We reached home, but Logan stopped 3 times on the way to take me, and that delayed our journey. It was midnight on the 3rd day when we finally arrived home. At the breakfast table the next day, Grandfather said that he was returning to the headquarters of the council. That was where he lived. "Kylie, you better give me grandpups as soon as possible," he kind of warned me. I blushed as I glanced at Logan, who was only smirking. "Gramps, we are working on it," Logan said casually, and I kicked him underneath the table. "Who the hell says that to their grandfather?" "Ouch! What?" He rubbed his leg, scowling. "Aren't we working?" Grandfather laughed as he shook his head. "Anyway, have you thought about Graham?" I hadn't. "Grandfather, when are you leaving?" I asked. "In the afternoon after lunch. Will it be okay if I give you my file for the case?" "No, Kylie," he replied. "If I take your file, I'll be seen as biased and might be kicked off by the council. You have to file the case personally." "Oh, I understand." He was right. For the next 2 days, I focused on making the file that would build a case against Graham, Zoe, and Alpha Liam. As I was writing the case, I realized things were getting tighter, like I didn't have a way to prove that they murdered my father. It seemed like an endless dark tunnel. Exasperated, I felt like giving up on it. However, Logan came that night and read my file. We discussed the case in detail. He went to the kitchen to make coffee for me and returned with more ideas. No matter how we approached it, it felt like chasing wild geese. Graham POV. I was shocked to the core when I saw the video in which Zoe had run to the border of my pack where Liam was waiting for her. She gave him a manila folder and after a chaste kiss, returned to the house. "What are we going to do about it, Alpha Graham?" Asher asked. That could be our pack's secret file. She is missing at the moment, but if you want, I can send our spies to hunt for her. I clenched my jaws so hard that it was a wonder my fangs didn't crack. Nothing, I replied and handed him the tablet. Zoe is no more with us, and Alpha Logan has taken Alpha Liam as his prisoner, so this whole thing is useless. Asher bowed to me and left, but I was left with an empty feeling. How could Zoe breach my trust? I loved her from the bottom of my heart, to the extent that I didn't even look out for my mate when she was suffering. Once again, thoughts of Kylie flooded my mind. She was such an asset to my pack, and Zoe was nothing but a burden. I couldn't sleep that night, feeling lonely, not because Zoe had betrayed me, but because my wolf wasn't responding to me. Without him, I knew it was only a matter of time before a stronger wolf in my pack challenged my position. 2 days later, I was sitting in my library with a pounding headache and a glass of whiskey in my hand. It was impossible to forget Kylie. Why wasn't I thinking about Zoe or the other females in my pack? Idea of having sex with all of them was repulsive. Kylie's mark on my neck burned these days. After she had rejected me, the pains in my stomach had become regular. I cursed her, wondering why her mark disappeared and why mine was still burning. Was it how the moon goddess was punishing me? A heavy knock on the door broke my reverie. Alpha Graham. It was Asher's urgent voice. Come in, I growled. The door opened and Asher came in, holding someone's wrist, pulling him or her behind him. I narrowed my eyes, and then my eyes widened in surprise as Zoe emerged from behind him. You, I shouted. She was looking like she hadn't eaten for days, thin, unkempt, smelly, and her clothes were tattered. Zoe pulled her hand away from Asher and rushed to me. She kneeled in front of me and clasped her hands in a plea. Alpha Graham, she cried. They are hunting me everywhere. I am innocent. All I ever did was love you and comply with your desires, and this is the result I face. I tossed my whiskey glass across the floor, and she shrieked. You have the audacity to come here? I growled, unable to hold my anger. You have ruined me. I saw your video in which you gave our pack's secret to Liam. She jerked her head back. How have I ruined you? She crawled and clutched my knees. It was Alpha Liam who was forcing me to do those things. He had my naked video and was blackmailing me, saying he'd make it go viral if I didn't comply. I swear, Alpha Graham, I never betrayed you. Kylie framed me. She abused me along with Alpha Liam. When Alpha Logan attacked, I had to run away because I was pregnant with your pup. That is not my pup, I snapped. This is Liam's pup. No, she said, her eyes widening in horror. Did Kylie tell you that? Can't you see she's still jealous that you love me more than you love her? And those words just struck me, because Kylie was jealous. Is this my pup? She nodded through tears and my heart melted. I picked her up in my lap and hugged her hard, relief flooding through my veins. Oh, Zoe, I would never betray you, Graham, she cried and snuggled in my chest, Graham POV. With Zoe back in my arms, I breathed relief. Though it felt better, Kylie's absence was gnawing at my soul. The void that had formed in my heart was not filling up. It was rotting up. I picked up Zoe in my arms and took her to the room. She had curled her arms around my neck as she rested her head on my shoulder. I set her on her feet in the room and said, Take a bath and then we'll talk about what to do next. She smiled through her tears and nodded. I love you, Alpha Graham. I wanted to say the same to her, but I refrained because suddenly I realized I didn't love her. Now I needed her to give birth to my pup. I needed this heir badly because only my heir would consolidate my position in my pack. Zoe returned after taking a bath, wrapped in a towel. As she lay down next to me, I didn't immediately have sex with her, even though she presented herself to me. All I did was to sleep beside her. We didn't discuss our future plans at all. Kylie had threatened me she would expose my crime. What could I do to stop her from doing it? She had no evidence, and I was sure that she wouldn't file a case against me in the head council. In the meantime, I had to keep Zoe's presence a secret. If my enemy came to know about her, they would do anything to take her away. I wondered if I should mark her. The next day when I was in the office, contemplating my next move, Zoe came. Alpha Graham, can I talk to you in private? I gestured Asher to leave. As soon as he left and closed the door behind him, Zoe sat at the table and said, Alpha Graham, can you give me $10,000? I frowned. Why? She fidgeted with her fingers and looked away. Kylie and Alpha Logan are after me. Alpha Logan thinks it was me who had kidnapped Kylie, but she shook her head as tears rolled out of her eyes. I didn't do it. It was Alpha Liam who captured both of us. Remember, I called you about it? I nodded. How did you get a mobile to call from the dungeons? I asked. Her face fell flat for a moment. She recovered immediately and said, We weren't in the dungeons. Alpha Liam had lodged us in a guest room. A guard lent it to me for only a few minutes. She quickly changed the subject. So will you give me money? You didn't state the purpose. She took a deep breath in. I want to stay hidden in the human world for a few days until this chaos is over. I narrowed my eyes at her. She wanted to run away? Had it been Kylie, she would have stayed with me to handle the chaos. I'm sorry, Zoe, I said. You will remain in my house and won't be allowed to step outside it until you've given birth to my pup. Her mouth fell to the floor. But, Alpha Graham, there won't be any more discussion on this. You may leave, I growled. She sniffled. You've changed. Suddenly, the door opened, and Asher walked in with a paper in his hand. He looked like he had seen a ghost. You have to see this, he said, and placed the paper in front of me. I picked it up to read, and the blood drained from my face. It was a copy of the case that Kylie had filed against me, Zoe, and Alpha Liam in the head council for the murder of her father. Fuck! I rasped. What's wrong, Alpha Graham? Zoe asked. I slipped the paper towards her. When she read it, she paled. It is what it is, I said as I rubbed my face with my hands. But why does it have Alpha Liam's name also? I asked. Zoe clenched her teeth. I don't know, she blabbered. Maybe she wants to exact revenge on him. She put the paper back on the table. Alpha Graham, let's just run away. This is bad news. No, I shouted. If we run, it will look like we have committed the crime. The head council will send its hounds to sniff us and get us back. Kylie doesn't have any evidence, and so we will face this together. But Alpha Graham, Zoe whined. She seemed a lot more panicky than I could understand. That's it, I slapped the table. She has no evidence. Kylie is doing this just to avenge us. She is jealous and still can't stop thinking about me. Once our innocence is established, she will bear the consequences of the council. And as for us, I chuckled, I will marry you and induct you officially in my pack. Oh, Zoe exclaimed, looking happy for the first time. I turned to look at Asher. When do we have to go to the head council? I asked. Next week. Great. Until then, let's just rest and focus on the pack, and let Kylie do whatever she wants. I relaxed and sat back in the chair. Kylie was so going to lose this. I had to keep Zoe's presence a secret for a week before we went to the head council, and so I barred her from meeting anyone and also coming out of our room. I assigned only one maid for her who was taking care of her. In that 1 week, she simply rested and ate and offered herself several times to me. At least, now I was feeling better. I had heard nothing from my spies about Kylie's movements, and so I was sure that she could not gather any evidence against us. I felt a major confidence boost. Kylie was a fool. Just to avenge me, she had filed a case. She was going to fall flat on her face, and I couldn't wait to see that. Once we will be acquitted, I was going to sue her for framing me in a fake case, and then I would demand hefty money in compensation. One that would make Alpha Logan a pauper. Kylie POV. I had filed a case in the council against Graham, Zoe, and Alpha Liam, fully aware of the potential consequences if I were to lose. Are you sure you want to do it? Logan asked as he sat in the driver's seat, looking at me. Alpha Graham has got what he deserves, and so has Liam. Zoe is still missing, and my spies have searched everywhere. It looks like she has disappeared from the face of Earth. He placed a hand on my thigh. Kylie, what I really want is for us to move forward without getting caught up in an unnecessary mess. I bit my bottom lip and looked away. Logan, I won't rest until I punish them all. I would have let it go if they hadn't killed my father, but not now. They killed my only family and manipulated me. So no, I won't leave them. Then I turned to gaze at him. However, I will totally understand if you don't want to go with me. I can take care of myself. A flicker of anger passed through his eyes. Kylie, did I say that I won't be with you? I am in this with you for as long as you want to. I only want you to be happy. And don't you dare say that again, okay? I nodded. Thank you, I muttered. We reached the High Council along with a few warriors. Ace and Katie couldn't accompany us because Ace had to look after the pack in Logan's absence, and Katie wanted to stay back with him. She had mentioned that Ace was being forced to go back to his pack by his parents, but I didn't have the time to dwell on it much. When we arrived at the High Council, I saw Graham was already there, along with Asher. The council had agreed for the first hearing a week later, and so I knew that this was just the beginning. Graham looked smugly at me as if he was going to defeat me already. Taking a ragged breath in, I walked inside the council, holding Logan's hand. Graham followed us with Asher. As he passed us in the foyer, he snorted, "You couldn't live without seeing me, Kylie." I froze. "What?" I snapped. He glanced at Logan. A self-assured smirk formed on his lips, directed at me. "I know you think of me, and this is just your way of seeing me again. You miss me. Accept it." Logan's chest vibrated with a dangerous growl. I was also furious at his words. So I planted my hand on Logan's chest, turned to look at him, and seized his lips in a passionate kiss. When I pulled away, Logan had calmed down, and I also felt better. Then I looked over my shoulder at Graham and said, "Stop being delusional." His mouth fell to the floor, and I walked into the main hall with my chin up. Graham followed me, gritting his teeth and cursing under his breath. Elder Hanks, as usual, occupied the central seat among the 5 elders, perched on their chairs. Elder Hanks looked at me with curiosity and said, "So what brings you again to us, Luna Kylie?" I had to suppress my smile when he said that. I bowed to him and said, "I filed a murder case against Alpha Graham for killing my father in the cold." There was a pin-drop silence. Several moments later, Graham said, "This is a baseless case, elders. Please dismiss it because Luna Kylie is coming back to me for revenge. She struggles to accept her jealousy over the fact that I love Zoe more than her. This is just a trick for her to get back to me." He looked at me with narrowed eyes. "I will never take her back, even if she crawls to me and begs me. She is just being bitter, and with no evidence, she is accusing me." I gaped at him for his stupid assumptions and arrogance. Before I could speak a word, Elder Hanks lashed him. "Alpha Graham, as far as I know, Zoe has escaped and is not with you, while Kylie is happily married to Alpha Logan. I also heard that Zoe, who was married to Alpha Liam, never really rejected her husband, so I don't think Kylie is jealous of her, or you, or your condition. Is it the other way round, though?" Alpha Graham clenched his teeth as he glared at Elder Hanks, and I couldn't help but suppress another smile. I hoped that Zoe not rejecting Liam would ring some warning bells in Graham's head. Elder Hanks continued, "Luna Kylie, why have you accused Alpha Graham of murdering your father if you don't have any evidence?" I took a deep breath in. When Alpha Liam had kidnapped me 2 weeks back, he had put me in one of the guest rooms. He visited me and offered me a proposition that if I married him, he would reject Zoe. Zoe came immediately after him and started crying that she was pregnant with his pup. "That is my pup," Graham growled. "Quiet," Elder Hanks growled back. "You may not speak until asked. Is that understood?" Graham clenched his jaw and fell silent. I narrated the rest, and, in the end, added, "Zoe confessed that with her help, Alpha Graham had murdered my father only to usurp my pack. Not only that, it was a plan that she had hatched with Alpha Liam. Alpha Graham was just a puppet in his hand." Elder Hanks raised his eyebrow and let out a rough exhale. "I see," he gazed at Graham. "How would you like to respond to that?" Graham's voice was clipped when he said, "She is dreaming. Zoe and I never killed her father, and I do not know about Alpha Liam. That bastard abused Zoe, and so she ran back to me. That's all." Graham was sticking to his plan of action, which I was expecting. I said, "Elder Hanks, do I have the permission to talk to him directly?" When Elder Hanks nodded, I turned to Graham. "Where is Zoe right now?" "I don't know," he replied without looking at me. "Did she not influence you to give me an anti-pregnancy shot when we just got married?" When he didn't reply, I said, "That is already proven, Alpha Graham." His throat bobbed. "The reason she asked you to do that was not because she loved you and wanted to have your pup. You both were into it. Eventually, your plan was to throw me in the dungeons and take over my pack. Otherwise, can you explain to me that why you are so protective of Zoe's pregnancy and are looking forward to seeing your pack's heir when you didn't even want to have a pup with me? Why didn't you want a pack heir with me? Because that's what alphas pine for. I clenched my fists. Zoe confessed to me it was a part of the plan with Alpha Liam. Bullshit! Graham thumped the table. You are wasting my time. If you have anything concrete, then I'll stay. Otherwise, I have work to do. Great. I had him all riled up, and it was time to hit it. Okay, then tell me where Zoe is. I don't know, he hissed. I chuckled and picked up 2 folders from my table. I gave one to him and the other to the elders. These are the latest pictures of Zoe, and by the looks of it, it seems that she is hiding in Alpha Graham's house. Graham paled. Kylie POV. The look on Graham's face was like he had seen a ghost. My lips lifted as I chuckled quietly. These pictures are doctored, Graham rasped as he flipped through them. Asher was also aghast. I could tell I had hit a nerve when he seemed to stop breathing. Elder Hanks, I said, if these pictures are doctored, you can get them checked by your IT team. I heard Logan's soft laugh behind me. Obviously, he was enjoying it more than me. Okay, we will get these pictures examined, Elder Hanks said. Thank you, Elder Hanks, Graham exclaimed. He started collecting his papers as if to leave. We will come whenever you call us for the next meeting. Where are you going? Elder Hanks growled. The first hearing is not over. You better stay back. My IT team will not take more than an hour to check the pictures. Graham jerked his head back in surprise, but he didn't argue. We watched the elders leave the main hall. As soon as they left, Graham picked up his phone and hurried out of the hall as Asher followed him. When I turned to see Logan, he stared at me with amusement for a while and then roared a laugh. Come here, he said in the middle of it. He grabbed my hand and pulled me into his lap. You are way more intelligent for the world, and I am so happy that I am on your good side. I blushed and tapped his nose. I'm glad you have realized that, Mr. Kylie. My evil, evil Luna. He laughed more and kissed me. And I like Mr. Kylie. My bladder was bursting, so I hurriedly walked to the bathroom. Just as when I was coming, I saw Graham also emerging from it. As our eyes met, he shot a glare at me as he pocketed his phone. You're such a bitch, he hissed. If you think that you're going to prove that Zoe is with me, then you are in for a major setback. She is not in my pack, and those pictures are doctored. I crossed my arms across my chest. Are you aware of the consequences of committing perjury? He lifted his hand as if to slap me, but my chest vibrated with a growl because Coral tried to surface in defense. He backed off immediately, his eyes widening in surprise. Zoe is not in my pack. She escaped a long time back, remember? He reiterated. I snorted. Then you should feel happy, because if it is proven that I am fabricating the evidence, then I will be punished, not you. Why are you so riled up instead? With a frustrated sigh, he pivoted and walked away. The next hearing was 6 hours later, during which Alpha Logan and I had our lunch and discussed more. I didn't see Graham or Asher, but I knew they were lurking around. When the meeting began, Elder Hanks said, The pictures are not doctored, Alpha Graham, so it means that Zoe is hiding in your pack and you are lying. No, Graham shouted. This is outrageous. Zoe is not in my pack. You can search my pack's territory for it. Oh, we searched your territory, Elder Hanks said. While you were over here, we did that. Why do you think we are meeting after 6 hours? Graham gaped, darting his eyes at the other elders. And did you find her? He asked. No, we didn't, he replied. Graham grinned and relaxed in his chair. See, I told you she is not in my pack. Now it is proven that Kylie was lying. She is liable for punishment. Punish her! I sighed. Alpha Graham, the reason the Elder Council warriors couldn't find Zoe in your pack was because... I waved at the main door of the council hall. It opened and Zoe walked in, looking like a deer caught in a headlight with Fenris and another warrior holding each of her upper arm. Graham's face turned ashen white. He got up from his chair as Zoe approached him, crying and sniffling. I completed my sentence. Because my people already caught her when she was fleeing your pack when you called her right after the first hearing today. I smiled and added, This was fun. Then I turned towards Elder Hanks, who was actually grinning. Fenris caught her from the Lunar Pack's border when she was running away. I guess it proves that it was Alpha Graham who was lying and not me. Zoe cried loudly and ran to Graham. She wrapped her arms around his waist and cried, Our baby! She wants to kill our baby. I rolled my eyes. Logan placed his hand on my back to calm me. Graham stared at me with shock and surprise in his eyes. His face was blank and his mind numb. He reached out to his gamma in the morning to plan her escape and hide her in order to frame me for lying. I was sure he never expected my kick-ass move. Did he think I was here for fun? Well, yes, I was having fun. Shur and Fenris were with me as always in this. Alpha Logan had sent his spies everywhere to find Zoe, and his spy network was the best amongst the werewolves community. We had the best trackers. Usually, a pack had 1 or 2 trackers, but the Nord pack had a wing of trackers in which there were 14 of them. And all were professionally trained, not just in our world, but also in the human world. They had every damn modern gadget for tracking, apart from their fantastic sense of smell. And none of them could pick up Zoe's scent. So where was she? The past week, the trackers had spent in all the forests around the area to find her. The only explanation was that she was hiding, and she was hiding well. I called Shir to discuss her and told him my suspicions. He said that he would find out about it. Shir still had some connections in the lunar pack, and that's what he used. And Omega sent us pictures of Zoe in Graham's house.